I swear to you. Like, I fell in love with him for a reason. He isn't a bad person. Like, he went through a lot as a child that never got talked about, resolved. Like, his dad was horrible to him. His dad was an addict, an alcoholic. His dad abused his mom, him. Like, horrible childhood. Okay. And that's not his fault, but there is a point where you do have to recognize you went through stuff and get the help you need to change.
Right.
Right.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Medeiros.
And I'm Colleen Hungerford. And this is We're Doing This Right, right? A podcast for the whole woman, mind, body, soul, and business.
It's humor infused, as real as it gets, inspiring, and you'll walk away with real usable tools for life and business.
If you love what you're hearing, please share with a friend, subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and rate and review whenever you listen.
So find your earbuds, lace up your walking shoes, or cozy up with a beverage of your choice. It's time to dig in.
He had mental health problems, and our
Definitely.
country, nothing like we're getting better, but there's not a lot of like easy to access help for this. There's still a stigma in certain generations about accessing care. Like as I'm hearing you talk about him, I'm like, this man he was hurting.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And never dealt with that. And that just snowballed. Right. And so I honestly think he was trying to mask all that with the drugs. Like, I can
Right.
stay somewhat happy and normal and feel okay if I stay on these. Right.
I
Right.
think they'll
So,
numb. It like shuts all the noise off. My dad's an addict, and I've always just said like he's addicted to an escape from reality because much
yeah.
the same like his mom was an alcoholic. He was all the reasons that but he at the core he's mentally ill and
Yeah.
needs
Right.
help and needs treatment and needs guidance because it's too much to do alone for any
It
mental
is.
illness, especially one coming out in this really, really harmful way.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Like, there is such a stigma. I remember, people ask you, like, oh, what happened, and I just remember even uttering the words because I just knew the awkward moment it was going to bring. Now I'm talking about things, but for about 3 years I didn't. But even saying, oh, he committed suicide or he took his life, the people on the other end of that had no idea how to react to that. And
Right.
I know we're getting there, but we're not even close to where we should be, to the fact that we all live with so much pressure and life is so demanding and there's so much on all of us that the truth is I cannot understand why insurance doesn't cover for us all to have therapy because I swear we could all benefit from it. But men especially, they feel like they're supposed to be the protectors and they're so tough, and so seeking out help and admitting that there might be, you know, an issue is just something that doesn't happen typically until it's too late.
I agree.
Yeah, and I don't know that there are like, you know, we hear it now about like the male loneliness epidemic and stuff like that. And I think so much of that is also like um, self-created because
Yeah,
I think men rely on women to create a social atmosphere for them in so many different ways.
you're
And
right.
maybe traditionally, like in the 50s and prior, like that was the role of women, but like I don't want to say that. That was like not the words, but like it was, right? Like if you were a
Yeah,
stay-at-home mom and you were a stay-at-home wife and like that was part of your responsibility was to like throw the parties and do the stuff and facilitate those
yep.
kinds of things. But the world has changed for women in lots of ways. But that idea and that concept for men, I don't know that that has changed in
It hasn't kept up.
relation to right
Yeah.
to the way that women have changed. And so, I even see that in a completely different scope. But like, when we moved here, I went out and I've made a lot of friends, but my husband didn't go out and make a lot of friends.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
you had
like,
a cross country move. So yeah,
yeah, so there
major.
wasn't like, so I think there, to your point, like there is this need for men to understand like community in a way that women are trying to figure out community right now. Like we talk a lot about women in villages and being a village for each other and having community. And a lot of times that community is women, right?
Yeah.
Like who's going to pick up your kids from school? It's going to be another mom. Who's going to
Yep.
help you with the birthday party shit? It's going to be another mom, right?
Yep.
But it's not, I don't know that there are as many like husbands or dads or men who are finding and seeking community in that same way. And I do think that that is a big contribution to this, like crisis, if you will, for men and their own mental health issues.
I have
Like
a
we were
small twist off of that. Is I was talking about our InspireHER meeting last week. We did like a whole session on navigating change. And I'm like, oh, Alex, you really need to hear this and you need to hear this. Like, God, I wish you had somewhere you could go and you could like digest these things. He's like, well, maybe if you created an Inspire him too. But I'm like,
uh
he's not going to do it. Like Inspire
But
Her, like
why
that's,
should you have to
well, of course, I
create the
know, and I'm not
Inspire
going
him?
to. But I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm like, yeah, he's right. They don't have the same men don't do the same work towards community that we do, or at least men I'm around. So, anyways,
or
I
when
just
they
thought
did do
Inspire
it,
him
it
coming
was
to his
in a
city near you.
more like toxic-y male way. Like if they're at like the social club or they're at the this, it's
yes.
not like they're sitting down talking about like, hey man, shit is rough and I'm
Right.
having
It's
a
not
rough
going to be so
time.
vulnerable as the sharing that we're doing sitting around the
Right,
table.
right,
Right.
right,
Yeah.
And the truth is we were made for community. So like I agree, like women have a much easier time as adults meeting and connecting with other women than men. But like we were all created to be around other people. It's a need. Like we all need to be connected to somebody
right.
at least. So it is there's a lack of that for sure in the men department.
Well, and even the
Yeah,
ways we're building our careers, most women I know are building their careers in a way in which they can step away to go to the school things. They can step
Yeah.
away to go and have lunch with a friend. They can step away. Like I don't see the same in my husband's life. And whether that
right,
I think that's a him not setting boundaries problem. I think that's a him not taking advantage of opportunities that are there. But I think for whatever reason, men don't feel that they have the same ability to do it as we do.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so your husband commits suicide, dies by suicide,
Yeah.
and then but you were separated, you were trying to divorce. You
Yes.
said something in our pre-call about like why you eventually filed for divorce. Why don't you go ahead and start there?
I sort of touched on that. That was he and I were on our way to my parents' lake house, and my daughter was in the car this time. And I think that's what really elevated this was her reaction to what was happening
Mm, no.
between us. All this time I'm thinking I'm hiding it from her, okay? And it keeps coming out. Some of the things that she heard and saw even now. Like we're 4 years into this and little things keep coming out. So, and I'll get to that, but basically that was a horrible fight that started over me telling him he was about to miss the exit. That's it. All right. He was literally about to miss the exit. And I go to this lake house all the time. So simply trying to tell him that we're going to miss it. And that set him off. Whatever it was going on with him that day, that was all it took. And when I say like screaming, physical, verbal in front of my daughter, she's crying and screaming. We're on 465, which is our major interstate here. And I'm like, I got to get out of this car, but then I don't want to leave my kid. So it was just the worst. And then he made me stay in the car to get all the way down to the lake house. Like I had to go, it's in Bloomington. I had to go an hour and a half this way with my daughter freaking out in the back. Like, and I just knew at that moment, I'm absolutely done with this. Like I'm not doing this. And he was so in his head that we get there and he keeps me stuck in the car while he runs
Mm.
to my parents to flip the whole thing and tell them that I've gone crazy and they're going to need,
Oh,
it's me, right? My dad knows better because my dad has come to the house before. I don't know how my dad didn't kill him. They did get in a physical fight once, but one time it was really bad at my house. And this is so embarrassing to even admit, but it was really bad at our house. And he had called my dad because I think he knew that I was going to eventually, because they lived close and I was going to need help. And he had told him that like she destroyed my office, she's going crazy, she tried to push me down the stairs, like all this stuff,
mm,
right? And when my dad comes into like busts into the house, Evan's gone. I'm in the fetal position. I had peed my pants. Okay, this is
mm,
how like terrified I was. And he walks into the office and he's like, "Is this what you tore up?" And I was like, "Yeah, I pushed the papers off the edge of the table, like in an argument." And
mm,
it's like stuff like that. And so there were times where I would run to my parents' house, but when that would cause more of a fight on both ends, my dad hating Evan and Evan hating that I ran to my dad, I started just sleeping in my car in random parking lots. I would go get a hotel and just tell Kylan because I didn't want anybody to know. Remember, if my parents know, I think it's going to get worse on that end.
Right.
If my friends, I know I'm going to be embarrassed. If my work knows, I didn't want to miss work. So we would go to a hotel near my office and I would tell her we're going on an adventure. Like, do you want to stay the night and go on an adventure? Because I'm trying to protect her from everything. And so we would stay in hotels to avoid him being mad because he would never leave. He'd start it, he'd get everything riled up, but he would never leave. And so I would. So anyway, long story short, like I knew I was done, no matter what that meant. If that meant my kid hated me for a while till she figured out that's what it was. If it meant everyone hated me, it just is what it is. I was going to die if I stayed, is what I thought. So I got a hold
Yeah.
of an attorney. I actually physically went to the attorney without an appointment on the Tuesday because it was a holiday weekend. I'm like, I don't have an appointment, but I need you. And I had already called her before because I tried to leave him before until I got scared. And so I'm like, you have to see me right now. I have to do this right now or I'm not going to do it. And we did. We just got through everything. And I filed for divorce that day. And I had no regrets until he killed himself. And then I thought, you made the wrong decision. You should have just toughed it out. Kylan would have her dad. You know, everyone would have their husband or their uncle, their brother, their best friend, their son, like everyone would have everybody if you would have just stayed with him. But it wasn't just that
No.
moment. It
Yeah.
was so many things that he's always dealt with. It was the trying to get off drugs. It was probably a little bit of me. It was some financial stuff going on, with a business he was involved in. It was probably a combination of a lot of things with this underlying mental illness that none of us knew about.
Yeah, at the
So,
core, like those things happen to people all of the time, and
yeah,
people don't kill themselves.
I
At
know.
Right.
the core, he was mentally ill. Like, period.
Yeah.
And and
Nobody's fault.
and and I mean, like, again, not to like make evaluations or judge people or whatever, but also like we know that like if you are consistently on drugs, like you are not like that affects your mental health, that affects
Right.
your decision making, that affects a lot. And not to mention like the stress of hiding that from you, from
Yeah.
everyone, for whatever, like that is just a whole like, for lack of a better term, like cocktail of like really sadness, really,
Yeah.
like for him and obviously for you, like and it's an interesting thing to kind of unpack when we're talking about this because like obviously very obvious to us that none of this was your fault, right? Like this
Yeah.
was, but also like for him there is like a while it was like there's part of us I think all that like really want to like hate him, but to your point, like he was a good man at one point, right?
He
Like there was
was.
something there what that was there that was good and there's goodness in him, but all of this just created this other personality.
Yeah.
And you know that is hard to that I can understand. I can't understand, but I could try to understand like the complexity of this experience for you, right? Like there's so and I think they're not a happy ending, but I think one of the things that I think is really amazing about your story is how you were able to take this like very tragic and awful story and experience, not story, it's your life, like, but
Yeah.
then like how you were able to like come out and are still coming out on the other side. And I would love for you to tell us a little bit about that too, right? So
Yeah.
after this like terrible thing has happened, there's a lot that's happening, but now all of a sudden you're a single mom, you're a
Yeah.
widow, right? Like that's different
Yeah.
than even just being a single mom. You're a widow and you're having to deal with you've uncovered all of this financial stuff you didn't know about, the debt that you didn't know about. Wasn't your daughter at like a different school and we had to move her? Like,
Oh, yeah. It's horrible. And you're so right. I mean, so he commits suicide, and everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people, I was like the easy target, right? They don't know all the other stuff. So I was the one that was to blame. So when I say like after his passing, like I was not okay. I was not
mhm,
okay at all, like in a really dark place until I realized like I cannot be like this because I am all she has. Like I have to get myself together and I have to make money, a lot of money to cover for all of this. And it was just there was a lot going on. But I did. I had to kind of just pick myself up. I immediately put Kylan in therapy because I was like, I don't know how she's going to react. But we went to a different school. We were in the neighborhood we were in. All the kids rode the bus and went to the school that was like almost directly behind the house. But when I tell you, and this is going to sound so gross, and you have to be wondering, why these parents suck at parenting. But what it took was a little girl. Well, every day she had to deal with everybody asking her about it in the neighborhood, on the bus, at school. Like, Evan's suicide was the talk of the town. And a little girl in our neighborhood came up to Kylan and was like, and I'm standing there, and said, "So are there like brains and blood all over your house? Like, what's it like in there?"
Mm,
And
God.
she's mortified, and I'm thinking I'm going to rip the head off of this child. Like, I could not believe what came out of her mouth, because that doesn't just come out. Like, someone has talked
Right.
somehow about this in her home, and she's young.
Right.
Kylan had just turned 11.
Oh my
So
God.
I did not send her to school, and I called the school and I was like, we are done here. We are done. I have to find somewhere else for her to go. I called a local, like the church that we attend, who has a private school, and we ended up putting her immediately in that school where she's not like plagued or tagged by all this. She can tell her story when she's comfortable, if she ever is comfortable, but this isn't what she's known for. The girl whose dad killed himself in her house. And
Right.
Kylan had already been bullied with a skin condition, so school was tough. So add
Yeah.
what he did on top of it, you know, and it just made it really difficult. So I just decided we were done there. We were selling that house. Everything changed really quickly. New house, new neighborhood, new school, new friends, just a fresh start. But
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Okay, so
I
tell us
can't.
how you pull yourself up by the bootstraps and like what comes next. So like you're
Yeah.
not well for a while and then what changes? What like
I think honestly, just one day I realized this cannot be how my story continues, right? And my grief journey has been very different than Kylan's or Evan's friends and family, because as much as I am so sad that he is gone, and I'm most sad for my daughter because she has triggers that, her first school dance and her volleyball games, and her dad is never there. So
You're
sorry.
okay. Don't be sorry.
I'm more sad for her, but for me, I am like 4 years later still angry. I'm so mad. I'm so mad because I didn't have time to process all the things he told me right before and then that I learned after. And I'm so mad that he would do this to her. And I'm so mad that he was ever, like ever had to see and hear what he heard and deal with those struggles alone. Like, I don't know why he couldn't have shared that with me so we could try to deal with it together. I'm just mad. I'm
Yeah.
angry. But I realized that this was almost like, non-negotiable for me to just move on. And so I just started. I've always been crazy with this work ethic. I just work myself to death almost, but I had to pick up other jobs because I'm covering everything now. And that's where the modeling came in. So I run an asphalt paving business, and on the side, I do modeling and acting. And it's funny that that's what I ended up doing as my side hustle, because I'm thinking I'm the most hideous, fattest like human there ever is. That is so disgusting. Nobody would ever want anything to do with me. And here I am getting paid
Hmm.
to be me, which is like the craziest thing ever. So that was a little bit of a confidence boost that I needed. It was also like me finding myself again and loving myself again and being able to be who I was before Evan, and show my daughter that, you know, confidence and that you can overcome and be resilient, and you're beautiful regardless of your size. I'm a curve model. I'm not a stick. I represent the curvy ladies because we all have, beautiful bodies regardless of your
Yeah.
size. So
Yeah.
I think it was just like I didn't have a choice. I didn't have time afterwards. Nobody tells you when your spouse dies like how many to-dos there are going to be. I didn't have time to like not just get moving. And so I just started really pushing into this new life, this new house, which my daughter kept saying feels so safe. Like, and I couldn't
Hmm.
understand why she said that. She would constantly be like, "Don't you feel so safe here? I feel so safe in our new house. I love our new house." And it wasn't
Hmm.
until she got older that I asked her, I'm like, "Why do you feel so safe here?" And she's like, "I just do. Like, dad's not yelling, you're not crying." And she admitted that she would always come in our bed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I break this habit? Like, she's always coming into our bed, even at 10, 11. And she tells me, like, last year actually, that she always came into my bed because if she was in the bed, nothing bad would happen. And so she would sneak into the bed
To protect
constantly
you.
to basically protect me. And I'm thinking I'm protecting her by staying and her not seeing. So it's just this horrible. So we feel so at home here and safe. And I just didn't realize how much everything was going on at that house affected us. We did not bring a single thing from that home here. I
Oh, wow.
donated everything. I had a truck come and everything got taken out of that house. And we don't have a single thing here from that home. It was just a total fresh start.
That's so smart
Yeah.
Gosh,
and
I can't
cleansing.
even. Yeah. And I just am like so in awe of your story and like, you know, it's a weird thing to say. Like, if somebody met you now, they wouldn't have, like, they don't have any, like, way of knowing this. And I think some of that is like your own, obviously, like self-preservation, because that's not the story that, you know, maybe you want everybody to know, but also like because of the resilience and the, you know, we talk about resilience sometimes, and I think it's like, we think it's, you know, this amazing attribute that we have, which it is, but sometimes you just don't have any other choice, right? Like, I
Right.
think resilience is a self-preservation tool in order to continue to keep going. And I think as parents, so much of that is like, you just have to, like, there's no other choice. Like, what were you know, like, almost like, what were you gonna do, right? Like, just,
Right.
you know. And I guess there are some people that do choose to not face it or to not do it, but I think,
Yeah.
you know, I just am like continually in awe of everything that you've continued to do and continue to build, and like the support that you give others and the work that you do with Dress for Success, and like being able to take your story and then like, I don't want to say like turn it into something good, but like turn it into like improvement and to helping
Yeah.
others and helping yourself, and being able to like, you know, come from a situation where you're constantly being told that you're ugly and you're gross and you're fat, and then like being able to monetize because you're like amazing and beautiful. And, you know, like so much of that comes through just in your like personality and your character. And
Yeah,
like,
if you're
if
not watching
anybody's,
this on YouTube, you guys have to log in
oh
and
my
see like
God,
she's like
he's
a shining bright
stunning.
light.
Yeah. Yes. And so I think I appreciate you being willing to share this, because it's not an easy thing to share, and it's not always an eloquent thing to share, and it's not always a, you know, clear path. But I think the more that we can hear stories like yours, I think, you know, there are a lot of women who we might not even know are having this similar situation, because I bet there were a lot of people of your friends who didn't know what you were
Right.
going through either. And I think,
It's
um, yeah, go ahead.
it's actually kind of sad because so many people have been so upset to learn some of it, and
Mm,
I didn't tell anybody because it wasn't until recently, actually. Honestly, that interview in that magazine was the first time I spoke about it publicly.
mm, mm,
And why I did was because it was as if people were coming to me and telling me stories, and I'm like holding my lip because I want to tell them, like, get out, or oh my gosh, I know what you're going through. Like, it was crazy how many people kept coming into my path with these
mm.
stories that were similar to mine in one way or another, right? And I'm like, this is not happening by chance. Like, this
Right.
is horrible that I went through this. And as much as, like, I was really hesitant to tell any of it because I still have such an amazing relationship with his family. His sister lives 10 doors down from me. And so I didn't want any of them to be sad or hate me for telling this side because he's not here to defend himself. And that felt really awful at first, until my daughter, who is so freaking wise, I'm telling you. I obviously had a conversation with her before I agreed to do that, to fly to New York and do that interview. And I said, Kylan, let's talk. Like, how do you feel about it? And she's like, Mom, no one knows what you went through. No one knows what I went through. And no one gets to tell you or be mad at you for telling your story. And I'm like,
Yes,
preach. Like,
Queen.
yes.
Yes. We love
So
that.
And I'm not sure, like she is so strong and resilient as well, and she's just freaking amazing. And I think that I wouldn't have been able to be an example of those things without like this happening and me sort of finding myself again, truthfully. Like I feel more like I did as 20-year-old Casey. I'm almost 41 now in a couple days. Like I literally feel more like myself than I have in 2 decades. And that's a
Wow.
really, really good feeling. So I don't know. It's a
Oh my
horrible
gosh.
story. It's so embarrassing, honestly. And I have people, some of his friends who are like, oh, she just wants attention. That's not what it is. I assure you. I just swear that there is a reason so many people keep coming into my life and crossing my path. So I just want people to know that they're not alone in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that does, you at least being willing to put your story out there, your voice out there, your face out there, right? Like it makes
Yeah.
it, like um I was
Some
talking about
good
this
comes
with some,
from something
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I was talking about this with somebody earlier today. As women, we also always want permission
I
in general.
know.
And I think what your story can be and does is it also gives women permission to do the same
Yeah.
and to be able to address these things, and maybe earlier if they can, or if not, like whenever they can, but also know like they're not alone. They might feel embarrassed, but you also felt embarrassed and still feel embarrassed, but it gives them permission to be like, oh my God, okay, somebody else did this, I can do it too. And I think that that is really important
Starting
story.
over
So
is scary. I mean, divorcing somebody alone, but at least you're going to get half financially, usually. So
yeah,
divorcing somebody alone is terrifying, but losing somebody and being an instant solo parent is scary as hell. I mean, seriously, I
yeah,
had to sacrifice a lot and hustle a lot to make ends meet. And I thought like all the things he told me that I would never be able to do it without him, I was scared were going to be true, but they are not. They are not.
yeah.
And I keep amazing blessings keep happening to me in one way or another, even though we've been through horrible things. Like I'm so thankful for the opportunities I get, like this one. Like this is crazy. Nobody would have, wanted to talk to me, but I'm all about empowering women. Colleen, you know that. And in
Hmm.
just I'm really strong in my industry about helping women in the construction industry survive that industry because it's rough and tough out there
Yeah,
for us. And so it's just all about creating a village, creating a support circle, finding your people, empowering women, pushing on, and just making it through each day and each chapter, even if that means you need a little help, which I would never ask for help. And now I'm not afraid to say, like, somebody jump in here. I need a little bit of
yeah.
help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Casey. I
Yes.
know if anybody wants to reach out to you, or
Yep.
I know you have a podcast. Can you plug your podcast and tell us where we can listen
Yeah.
to that as well?
Yeah, so that's been such a fun creative outlet for my best friend and I to just kind of clown around. And it's almost a way for therapy for us about parenting life. So we have a podcast. It's called Moms Against Momming. And obviously, we're not quitting our kids, but we're freaking tired. And so we're telling all the parenting truths in a comedic way, telling stories about our kids and just life. Mom life and how it's hard, and we carry a lot of that mental weight ourselves as women and as the mom. So it's just a funny podcast. It's an easy listen. I'm sure you can relate to it if you're a parent at any age or stage. And it's on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. And it's at
Awesome.
Moms Against Momming.
that's
Awesome.
wonderful. And if anybody
Amazing.
needs some paving done in Indianapolis this year, how do they get a hold of you?
Yes.
Yes, you guys know you do because it's snowing today. It's March and it's snowing.
Yes,
So you know your asphalt is tore up. You
it
can
is.
contact us. You can get a hold of us at Young and Sons Asphalt Paving. You can email us or go to the website youngandsonsasphaltpaving.com or find me on social and I'll give you a quote.
Yay.
Awesome. Yay.
Thank you
Thank
Yeah.
you
so
so
much for
much for
sharing,
being
and we're
here.
proud of you.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Oh,
Thank you
wait,
for
one
featuring
last thing before you
people.
go. Tell us about your new gig you just booked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 15 minutes before this, I got a call from one of my agents in Michigan. And by the time this airs, I'm sure I'm allowed to say the name, but I booked an appliance company. I booked
Major
Whirlpool.
appliance company.
Yeah, major. It's so I'm sure everybody has a Whirlpool appliance in your house in one way or another. So I leave tomorrow to shoot for Whirlpool for a commercial. So I'm so excited.
Amazing.
We hope
Yeah.
Congratulations.
many, many beautiful, amazing things keep happening to you.
I appreciate that so much. Seriously. Thank you.
All right, you guys.
All
We'll see
right.
you next week. Thanks for listening, and tell a friend they need to hear.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on this journey of laughter, life, and growth.
And remember, you're not alone on this path to success. We're right here with you every step of the way.
Please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's conversation, we'd be thrilled if you would leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback means the world to us.
And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone who could use a good laugh and some practical insight into navigating the challenges and triumphs of our minds, body, soul, and business.
Remember, we're doing this right.